Welcome to the W. Welcome to the W. Welcome to the W. Welcome to the WNBA. What it do is to be shuffle, watch the damn tape, hit that like, that share, that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. New subscribers, I appreciate you for joining. Hope you enjoy the content. Old subscribers, thank you for continuing to push your boy to make this content and build this platform as we push our way to the 500 mark. Let's get it in. Recently, Camereon, Brink, Sydel Curry, Steph Curry's sister, and Deja Kelly, formerly of North Carolina and Oregon, who was had a tryout with the Las Vegas Aces in the preseason, didn't make the team. They had a conversation on Cameron's podcast. Shout out to Camereon doing her podcast while she rehabs her knee. They had an interesting conversation. They were talking about the roster sizes and how the rosters need to be expanded. So let's take a listen to both of them talk about the rosters, and then Deja's going to talk about her experience in the WNBA, her little time that she spent with the Aces and roster sizes. Let's take a listen.
So unfortunate that rosters can only hold 12. Personally, I think roster sizes need to be expanded before we add any more expansion teams. It's kind of crazy. 12 people for a roster. It's insane.
If you talk about analytics going into the season and like a healthy squad, the likelihood that you have a 100% healthy squad at the beginning of a season is very low.
Facts.
You're not going to have all 12. Someone gets hurt, you're down to 9 at the first game.
That's us right now.
Right, like I
Somebody
think that's
gets
what
hurt,
brought it
you go
up
from
when
12
Ray
to
got
9.
hurt.
Well,
Me
your
and
math
Damien
is
got into a
not math.
conversation about like why the roster spots are so small. You have 9 active players going into your second game of the season.
Yeah. And it just puts a lot of stress on everybody.
Yes, no wiggle room.
Roster sizes really need to be increased.
Once I got the call from Vegas, going through training camp how I did, going through preseason how I did, like I was just proud of myself. I was like, girl, 2 weeks ago you were questioning if you even want to be in play and looking at maybe I should look at a different career, like all that. And it's just like looking back at it now, and that was only a couple weeks ago. Like I couldn't even believe those were thoughts that I was having. That's unfortunate, and I know that the reason getting waived was nothing other than there's just not enough space at the moment, specifically Vegas. But I think that's why I'm in such good spirits, because I know that there's an opportunity that will come elsewhere or at another time or whenever that is, and if that's not this year, then next year, just try again. Like basketball is my passion, that is my life. I give that my all. So right now it's just kind of a waiting game on waiting to get a call from a team and just make sure I stay ready for whenever that opportunity presents itself.
Now, I do agree they do need to expand the roster, at least for the aspect of injuries. 12 players is enough for this league to operate. But it's the thing, when they have an injury, it's hard for them to get a waiver because of their strict salary cap. The Los Angeles Sparks were able to bring Latu King back when Ray Burrell went out. But every team can't do that. Now let's take a look at the salary cap and the number of spots that are on these teams. Let's take a look. Now, as you can see from that, most teams are tight to the vest and ain't got that much money. So I agree with Camereon. They do need to expand the rosters to a certain extent, but you need to fight for, if you want the rosters, and the reason why Camereon Brink said they don't want the expansion, it's simple math. They have a pie, and it's got 10 slices. If they add 2 teams, they got to slice that pie up more. So they got to spread that money out. That money gets smaller. So the raise that you're going to get next year when those two teams come, the raise is going to go down. So she don't want a whole new team with 24 new players. And that's the reason why the W is where it is because, like I said before, it's a gatekeepers league. These women don't want new women in that league. They want to stay in these spots forever. You look at Donna Taurasi. Donna Taurasi damn near 40 and retired. DeWanna Bonner's 37, about to turn 38. They want to stay in this league as long as possible. And if they stay on a team and they got name recognition, they can move around from team to team. You notice every team just shuffled players. There wasn't hardly that much new growth that came into the league. There was a lot of rookies that made teams this year. And you got helped by the Valkyries coming. But they really wouldn't want the Valkyries in there. They would rather just have only the 12 teams and let that ride. And that be it. And have 144. They don't want that 156. 156, they got to share too much money. And the other part about it that Cameron wasn't really honest about, she didn't really touch on it, was the salary cap. And your team has to manage the money. You can if your salary cap's about $2 million, you can't have 5-6 players making $240,000. You got to put some cheap players around them, and those players that are getting high paid, they got to perform. That's the reason why, if you go back and look at that graphic, Washington got a few players on cheap contracts and a few money people. It's a nice balance. It's a nice mix. That's what's wrong with the Fever. Excuse me. The Fever are veteran loaded with a bunch of guaranteed contracts. So you gotta, it's win or bust. You're not building for the future. You're building for the now. But the future come quick when one of those women get hurt because of injury, because they're older. Now you're stuck. You know, you got money tied up in the Katie Lou Samuelson that's not even on the team because you gave her max money. If anybody saw Katie Lou Samuelson in Unrivaled, you know she KP. She can't play. Shout out to Randy Galloway. He came up with that KP. He used to crack me up. KP can't play. Can't play. But that's the thing that you want to see. And that's one thing you don't hear in these negotiations when they're talking. You don't hear them mention roster size. And Cameron Brink's she's like a team rep. So basically, if it was on a union job, she's a steward. In her second year, she's a job steward. So she's a player rep for the each player. Each team has I think they have a player rep and they have an alternate. And she's one of the reps. She's either the rep or the alternate. She's one of the two for the Sparks. I mean, quite impressive to be that young and to be a rep where people go to the problems with you when they have problems with management and the team. Very interesting. But yeah, she sidestepped a bunch of stuff, and I guarantee you, we'll come back to this topic in a few months when they go to bargaining and that lockout or whatever's going to happen. They're not going to mention we need roster size of space and we need space on the rosters. They should be fighting for a higher salary cap so that it can get more salary, a better salary during the season. That's just my thought, but I don't think they know what they're doing. Half of them say one thing and the other half say another. They're talking about revenue splits and they want money for shirts, and they're not selling no shirts. They're not selling merch like that. I know Caitlin Clark selling merch because every game I've seen of hers, there's tons of Fever shirts, Fever jerseys, T-shirts. Wings games, it ain't that many. There's not too many people are going to plop down $135 for a Paige Becker's jersey. There's not too many people that are going to pay $54 for a Wings T-shirt. It is what it is. So, but I just thought this was an interesting conversation. And the Jewel Kelly thing, it was interesting too for the standpoint. I mean, not Jewel Kelly. The Deja Kelly point was interesting too in this video, just from the standpoint of Deja Kelly needs to stop talking. If you caught her, she said why she's not in the league and why she wants to be in the league in the same sentence. She said a couple weeks ago, I had almost just gave up. See, that not getting drafted deflated her. And I said it then, you're not cut out to be in this league. Your mind is not all in on basketball. You're a hooper. Yes, you're a hooper. You had a phenomenal high school career, won a state title, had a decent college career. And that's probably where it's going to end because you're not putting in the hours. You're not putting in the time to become a master of your craft. You want to be on TV. You have a face for TV. Go ahead and work on your podcast. And if you were really serious about hooping, we wouldn't be hearing from you. We'd be seeing you overseas playing the little kids. But you're not overseas hooping. You're not working on your craft. You're on podcast talking. That's not going to get you into the league. Even if they have a roster spot open up or they need some help, a backup point guard or a backup two, they're not going to get you. But I just thought it was interesting that she was on there and she was speaking and she basically said why she's not in the league. But let me know your thoughts on the salary cap, on roster expansion, and if you think Deja Kelly's going to ever get a spot in the WNBA. Leave your comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, folks, peace.
Welcome to the W. Welcome to the W. Welcome to the W. Welcome to the W. The WNBA.